Module 5, Menu Properties, covers the following topics: tabs and buttons, data association, menu testing, and adding component to specs. The first topic in Module 5 is the tabs and buttons. Once we've completed creating our component, we now want to add it to our menu structure so that we have access to the component in the 3D modeler. So let's take a look at our tabbed menus section, and we'll see all of the modules that are available within the 3D modeler: our ANSI piping, the equipment, the shared components, structural steel, ASME piping, and PVC. It is at this point we would decide which menu to add our component to. Being it's part of the flange components, we'll look at the ANSI piping. So we can double-click the ANSI piping here, or we can come up to our menu editor, and we can load an existing menu from the database, which would be the ANSI piping. We also have access from our pull-down menu. Double-click ANSI piping, and this opens up the menu structure and gives us access to the tabs and buttons. We can create new tabs simply by right-clicking on our menu and selecting a new tab. This would add a new tab, either as the first or last item. Or, in our case, we'll search down and find our flange tab, and then we want to add a new item, and we'll just put it at the bottom. So we'll just go in and now say New Command Button as the last. This puts a blank button on our menu at the bottom. Double-click the command button to edit. This opens the icon editor, and we can quickly go in and add some graphics for our symbol. And we can change colors and sizes, make it quite fancy if we need, but we'll just do something simple for now. We'll click the Save button. It now shows it as a preview, and then we can close off our editor. The next topic is data association. Once we've created our icon, now we'd like to add the information, the metadata and dimensional data information from our component to this button. To do this, select the ANSI Piping 2 component structures, find our flanges, find the flange cover, and just click and drag with your left mouse the flange cover onto our command button, and it attaches all of the information about the component. We can even include a tooltip that will show for the user when they put their cursor over it, and we'll just call this flange cover. To save this information, simply click Save, and it will save it to the ANSI Piping menu. Our next topic is menu testing. So once we have attached our data, we can then test the menu. Click the Test Menu button, opens up our test container. Go to our Flange tab, scroll down, and we see our new command button. We leave our mouse over it, gives us our tooltip, the flange cover, and if we select it, brings up the information for our newly created component. We can actually test the item. We can set our size, say to 4-inch, our spec A, and then we can run the test. Brings up the menu that we would see on the screen in the 3D modeler, 4-inch size, and it shows us the information that would be placed. In order to do this, we would have to add the component to our spec A, which we will see in the next topic. The last topic in Module 5 is adding the component to the specs. So once we've done our testing, we've added our command buttons, we can now add to our spec manager the components. So if we look at our specs, and in this case, I'll use my A spec, we double click on our flanges, we will see the available components that can be added to our spec. And there's our newly created component, our flange cover, which by default isn't added. So we can just click on that, click Apply, and now we see that we have the flange cover included. Close that one off. We can now double click our flange cover and see that the only component group we had created earlier was 150 pound class rating. Select that and click OK. And it now adds our 150 pound class rating. Double click on the 150 pound, and here are dimensional values that are available within that component. So we have our 2-inch up to 12-inch. So we just click on the components that we want added into our spec. We now have all of the size range from 2-inch to 12-inch added within that 150 pound class rating under the flange cover. Click Save. They have now been added to our spec. So we're ready to now look at our final step, which is going into our 3D modeler and testing the component and the menu within the 3D modeler. Let's open our 3D modeler. And when you open a new drawing or a new drawing session of the 3D modeler, the menu appears. You may have to do a refresh in order for the menu to appear. Let's take a look at our flange tab, and we'll see our new flange cover tool and even our tooltip. So let's give it a try. I have a 4-inch and a 6-inch pipe, complete with a weld neck flange, and we're going to add a flange cover. So we pick our tool, we select the 4-inch connection cone, flange cover is placed. Pick the tool again, pick our 6-inch flange, and our flange cover is placed, picking up the spec and size and rating of our 4-inch and 6-inch pipes, respectively. We can also just place a flange cover just in free space, just by picking a point and a direction, and we see our flange menu, and we can pick whichever size, an 8-inch, and it will place our flange cover in our 3D modeler. Module 5 is the last module in the PROCAD 3D Smart Component Designer tutorials. Review the topics in this module or select another module.